Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a great day so far and welcome to today's video where we're going to be taking a look at these 4 new quads from Yves Saint Laurent, their Mini Couture Clutch eyeshadow quads. I picked up shade number 710 and I will be showing you a demo on the eyes as well as comparing it to the Store Dolls quad that I already own and seeing whether it is indeed as similar as the photos look and giving you all of my thoughts on this brand new quad. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so YSL have dropped 4 new varieties of their Couture Mini Clutch eyeshadow quads. There were previously 6 varieties and there are now 4, making the total available 10, which is quite a number, isn't it? A nice juicy round one. Yes. So the 4 new varieties are 710, which is the one that I picked up over Brun. We then have 800, which is over Dolce, 810 over Orange, and 700 over Noir. Now the one that I chose is over Brun, and it's a very beautiful neutral palette. You've got a couple of satins, a matte, and a glorious like topper sparkling shimmer shade, just like the previous 100 Store Dolls that I already own. They do look kind of similar on paper, so let's have a look at some swatches and see how similar it is in reality. So here is 710 over Brun. As you can see, stunning warm leaning neutrals palette, absolutely beautiful. And here it is next to 100 Store Dolls. I'm really sorry I have to hold this one because it is loose in the pan. That is a problem I had with my first palette, but this is 100 and this is 710. So you can see they have a very similar vibe, both a sort of everyday neutrals palette, but to the eye, Store Dolls definitely appears cooler, and the new over Brun is definitely a bit warmer. So let's swatch them next door to each other and see actually in reality how close they are. So here we have the new palette 710 over Brun and it swatches beautifully. It feels very silky and smooth. Can't wait to use it. And next to it I'm swatching Store Dolls, the original shade number 100. So this is interesting because the newer palette is definitely a bit more intense and pigmented, like the shades are a bit richer, but definitely warmer. I think Store Dolls definitely a little more cool and understated. So to me at least, definitely different enough to own both if you're interested in this palette and you wanted to know how it compares to Store Dolls if you already own that one. I definitely feel like it's worth having both. They definitely tick different boxes slightly. They might suit different skin tones or undertones a little better if Store Dolls was a little too cool leaning for you, or if you have a deeper skin tone, this one looks a little richer and a little warmer. So let's try this new palette on the eyes and see if I love it as much as I did Store Dolls. Okay, so I'm starting off with this matte in this top corner and I'm using my Sonia G holiday brush. This was the limited edition big fluffy brush she released with her holiday set. Let's lift this mirror up a little bit. The formulas in here are always gorgeous. Really lovely blend, really soft shadows, very easy to work with. And this matte shade is no different. Really lovely transition shade. Perfect, like one and done, bit of something in the crease shadow. Ideal for work days, office days. This is what I love about this sort of little colour story. Although it's a quad, you know, you could just do a bit of this shade in the crease and have a really light, no makeup look. You know, just this would be good to go. You could pop a little bit of a shimmer on the lid, or you can use the whole palette. So although it's only a quad, you can get a good few looks out of there, and it can be quite versatile as far as the occasion that you can use it for, which I love. That shadow is just so pretty and elegant. That's the perfect transitional shade for me. And I think that's already like 1.2 over Brun over the Store Dolls, just because it doesn't have that sort of lighter transitional matte in there. The lighter shade was a satin in that palette, so I do prefer the sort of layout of the shades and the finish balance of the shades in this quad. So next I'm going to dip into the deeper, more satin shade with my Sonia G Worker S. And I'm just going to deepen that crease a little bit. What I like about these palettes, they're not so intense, you know, although that looks like a very rich shadow off the bat, it doesn't have to be, you know, a super smoky shadow. You can use them quite lightly to begin with, so that again helps with the versatility of the palette because they are quite buildable. You can add as much or as little as you like depending on the look you want and whether it's an evening or daytime look for you. Small but mighty, these quads, I think. Just kind of focusing that in the outer V and up into my crease, keeping it towards the outer part of the eye. I think the mirror in here as well is a really nice, decent size. I love this packaging. The Store Dolls did, unfortunately, the insert like is loose and it fell out, but it didn't smash. The shadows were fine, which is great, but that is one negative. I wish the inserts were a little more solidly attached because I think it's almost like a refill in there, but yeah, too loose and a little dangerous. Giving that a little blendy wendy there. Okay, so next up I'm going to use this sort of satin shade. Oh, okay. I was expecting that to be much more of a satin and it's much more metallic than I expected. By the way, I'm using my Sonia G T2. I really thought this was going to be a more subtle, understated shadow, but it was definitely got a bit more punch than I thought. I love these little quads. They're just so pretty. And I feel like they are so cohesive and they work so well as a colour story, even though they're only a 4-pan. They do a lot. Well, I'm impressed. I'm impressed. I wasn't expecting that to be so impactful. And now I'm excited for this little number. This is my Rephr 21. Oh, I knew that was going to be so pretty. That's almost got a sort of peachiness to it, this shade. Oh, that's so pretty. Oh, I think I like that shimmer even more than I do the one in Store Dolls, which is saying a lot because that's one of like my all-time favourite shadows. Oof, that's pretty. Okay, and then I'm going to use that original matte shade, the lighter one, and my T3 from Sonia under that lower lash line. Lisa Eldridge mascara. So I definitely got a little bit of fallout there, but minimal. I'm actually liking doing my eyeshadow last when I review palettes because it really helps me be able to see how much fallout I'm getting. Not terrible, but definitely a little bit of fallout, a small amount of fallout there. This is the finished look. What do you guys think? Do you prefer this or do you prefer Store Dolls? I definitely think on the eyes there is a difference. I was expecting them on the eyes to look very similar, but this definitely has a bit more warmth to it, and particularly the shimmer shade in here is what makes a lot of the difference. That's real sparkly wet look shade is quite different. The Store Dolls is a sort of taupey, almost pinky grey shade, and then this new palette, the shimmer in here, it's much peachier and warmer. I think it might even be a bit more like reflective as well, which I love. Absolutely beautiful. I could wear this every day with no questions asked and no complaints. Okay, so here are my initial thoughts on this little quad. I think it's so beautiful. I love the packaging of these quads. I love the very diddy little travel friendly small compact size of them, but I feel like they're so cleverly put together as far as the color story that, like I said in the review, you can really get a good 2 or 3 different looks. You could use this every day, you could use this on no makeup days, or on a night out, and everything in between, and it's just so elegant and pretty and effective. They're very flattering shadows. They don't enhance a lot of texture on the lid. They're easy to use, easy to blend, easy to work with, and just so pretty. I love this like sparkly shade. It's so pretty and reflective without being like really glittery. They're just so pretty. They literally look wet on the lid. So effective. I think I actually prefer this color story to Store Dolls, which surprises me because Store Dolls I absolutely adore. I think it's so beautiful and it's right up my street, and I've really got a lot of use and a lot of love and enjoyment from it. But this shade, I think it's this shade here, having that peachiness. It's just that little bit warmer, but without being, you know, orangey and or very red leaning. It's just, it leans more warm on the neutral spectrum than Store Dolls, which I think is more flattering on my skin tone and undertone, and just maybe a little more wearable throughout the year, because Store Dolls, it is quite light, and this one is definitely a bit richer. So it's easier for me to wear, having those 2 shades as well with the matte lighter transitional shade. It just gives me something to build from. So I just kind of prefer that balance with, you know, a couple of sort of transition crease shades and then a really impactful shimmer as well as that really popping crystally glittery sparkly shade. I feel like the balance is just my sweet spot for what I love. Like I said, I definitely think these 2 are different enough to own both. Store Dolls definitely cooler and running a little more taupey and grey, and then a new over Brun shade definitely a bit warmer and with a sort of peachier like rose gold touch with that shimmery shade. So definitely not as similar as I thought they were going to be, which is great news because I thought they were going to be like dupes of each other. But happily for me, they aren't, so that's a good news day. Please let me know if you are interested in any of these new quads, if you've ever owned or picked up one of the previous color stories and how you got along with it. What do you think of these new shades? Do you plan to pick any of them up? Please let me know all of your thoughts in the comments section down below. But thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, and I would love to see you in the next one. Otherwise, take care for now. Bye 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 bye.